I got hooked on the whole metaverse game because I think that this is just where we will lead. We're just going to go there. We're in a pretty fucked up world. People are not as happy maybe as you and me. Go away and like figure out a new world and like be a new person. You know, I don't know, character, gender, whatever the fuck you want, right? And this is what the metaverse will bring. While you will be able to make money.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Carve Your Own Fucking Path, a podcast made to inspire you to create a life and business on your own terms. You'll hear candid interviews with people who have boldly decided to blaze their own trail, and the occasional solo show with me, your host. I'm Willa McDonough, on-camera coach, storyteller, and remote video producer. 5 years ago, I moved from my home base of San Francisco to the coast of Portugal, taking a big leap into the unknown. Some called it courageous, I called it carving my own fucking path. Today I live in Lisbon and run a business that elevates your online presence, helping you show up confidently on camera to create videos that showcase your brand and personality so you can get more visibility and attract clients by being yourself. If you're just starting out in business or you've been doing it for a while, you're sure to pick up tidbits of actionable advice and hopefully feel inspired by stories from people who have chosen the unconventional and sometimes messy path. And if you've been waiting for a sign to start carving your own fucking path, this is it. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to Carve Your Own Fucking Path.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks for being here. Constantin Schmid.
Yes.
Best name.
Thank you very much.
Ever. Your parents, I love that. So, okay, you're from Germany. We're sitting here in Lisbon, Portugal. You live in Lisbon now. We recently met. I know a little bit about your story, but I don't know much. And so I'm just going to give a quick intro and then we're going to dive into your story, into your backstory.
Yeah.
So you are, let's just say, a Web3 enthusiast. I don't know what that means exactly. But you're a crypto bro.
Yeah. I try to be.
I hate to put you in that box, but we got to start somewhere. So you're young, you're 27, been traveling the world for a long time. You landed here in Lisbon and you also teach people how to live a freedom lifestyle, how to work online, how to create your own business. And you're doing this at 27. It's pretty impressive.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
So how did you get to where you are today?
Take
us back.
I would say a lot of these things originated in my parents because we've been traveling around for a long time. One of my earliest memories are traveling. So I have a great dad who's been diving and traveling the world. So traveling always came pretty, it always feel very normal to me, right? So born and raised in Frankfurt, great family. My parents been together for 35 years.
Wow.
Big brother, about to get married in, I think, 13 days.
Crazy.
And until I was 16, I played tennis professionally pretty vigorously and tournaments on the weekend and training every single day. And then, as I said earlier, I discovered girls and partying, and then it just took a little bit of a dip.
Yeah.
And then I was always interested in ideas and like writing down a bunch of ideas, not like doing a lot with them, but just figuring out stuff and like writing down, doing notes. And then I finished high school and went to university, but only because I wanted to move out and live on my own. I went to Vienna, it was horrible, went through breakup and didn't like the city, stopped. Came back to Frankfurt, worked at an early startup.
Let me interrupt really quick because you skipped over the fact that you're a professional athlete. That takes a lot of dedication.
100%, yeah.
And focus. So I always ask this question as well. Like what did you think you were going to be when you grow up? What did you want to be?
Number one, always.
Okay. And anything you did?
I played hockey as well, simultaneously to tennis, but then I had to make a decision on what, because I was pretty good in hockey as well, but tennis just felt more like something I would like to do because first of all, it's a single sport. So you take your losses, you take your wins, which was super cool. But yeah, being an athlete, I wouldn't say that I was a super professional athlete, but I was like top 100 in Germany, which was great, like in my age group, which was very good. But to be like number one in the world, you need to go away when you're very young, like train every single day, and like you can't just not love the sport for 1 second. You just need to go all the time. But it teaches you a lot.
Definitely. Did you have pressure from your parents to do this, or were you driving it? Like, I want to be the best, or did you have influence?
I think it was. I would say it was in the middle of what you just said. So my dad played in the highest league in Germany, so he always pushed me, which was cool. Drove into everything. My mom drove into everything, to any sport activities ever. So 100% full-time job for them. And then also, like, I had a great coach, Olli Trotz, and great ball, great tennis player. Tennis is a crazy sport because you actually take loss and take a win. So you kind of get crazy, and it's a super mental sport.
Okay.
I definitely got pushed a lot from like many directions, but it was also just me like wanting to win 100%.
What does winning mean to you?
Just being better as the one that I play against, I would call it tennis. And even if I'm not better, finding a way to still beat the person, which like happens, for example, even in like the top 100 in the world. The top 100 in the world in tennis right now pretty much have like the same strokes. They're like not like super like apart from each other when it comes to techniques and stuff. It's just all the mental games. So I was very good at those. Like, I was very loud on the court. I like knew like how to trigger my opponents, and
so you talk shit.
I talked a lot of shit.
Okay. So that's what you mean by mental game.
100%. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I don't know anything about tennis, to be honest. So
it's a great sport.
Okay.
It's
Yeah. And you were confident, clearly. And then what did you envision for your future?
In terms of tennis or in general?
In general.
I always wanted to be self-made. Obviously, like, I come from a fortunate home, and my parents were together for like such a long time, which is super cool. But I always wanted to do something on my own, build my own stuff. And because I hated the idea of like asking for money, like raising capital. I'm still having big issues with that.
Okay.
Because there's such a huge weight on your shoulder if you actually ask someone for money and they obviously want something in return, and then you don't know how the markets play out, or like people that you trusted before. So it's a hard thing to do, to ask for money, in my opinion. But nevertheless, I always wanted to like have my own business, travel the world, and just be free to do what I want. Because my mom would say that I'm quite stubborn, which I am.
Yeah.
So, which also like sometimes really helps me in business.
Yeah, definitely.
But just be free, just like do whatever I want, like not take too much, like not to take too much care of like how much everything costs, and like not take too much care of price tags and all of this stuff. But just like work hard, get good deals done, and like have fun as well. So I like to have fun as well.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then 16, 17, you then start getting interested in partying, girls, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then did tennis become the last thing you wanted to do?
No, not really. I mean, I still trained, but the thing is, if you're not 100% committed to it anymore, and you start drinking on the weekends, and then you have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you have tournaments, or you have your team competitions, and then you start partying until 2-3 in the morning, you're not going to play as good, right?
Yeah.
So I would say like I wiggled myself around tennis until I was 19. And then when I was 19, I started losing against people that I normally beat very easily. And then I was like, fuck this. I do not want to do this.
Yeah.
And then I still played a little bit. I played like some tournaments, and I did okay, but like the whole drive, like trying to be a professional, definitely like went away when I was 16. Okay. But still love the sport. I still have 4 records here, and I play from time to time with friends, or back home with my teammates from earlier. I'm still friends with a bunch of them.
Are they athletes are they still? So then entrepreneurship was something that was attractive to you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I would say it started about 4 years ago. 4 years ago, so definitely not like immediately. I just like to like write down notes on my phone, for example. Like if you type in idea in German in my phone, you will find like probably 300 things. And like, as you like to mention, I have 2 phones. So like there are a bunch of notes, let's put it that way. So you're just like writing down stuff, writing down like little papers, like talking to friends and stuff. But you never like really followed through, which I'm like kind of regretting at this point, because nowadays, like so normal for like 15-year-old guys or girls to have a company, right? I thought it was like the hardest thing ever in the world. And then I realized when I did my first company, you basically just have to make a phone call or like do something on the internet. So kind of like was not educated enough at this point to like do something. Also, I don't think I was in the mental space to like run a company at 17.
I mean, not. Even at 27.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, 100% tough. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing is the life experience, but that drive is clearly in you. And what was your next move after? You said you didn't like Vienna, you went to college there.
So I went to Vienna, did not have a good time. Then came back to Frankfurt, started to work in a startup called Foodora, which was like the early ages of like food delivery. I worked there, did business development, basically went from restaurant to restaurant and tried to sign them, which was super cool because you get like this instant verification process. If you either go out there, because I went there with a piece of paper and either they sign it and like fill out all of their stuff and I go back to my boss and he's happy or not, right? So similar to tennis, like you go in, you either win or you lose, right? And then the good thing there is that you can go back and like, harass them much more and like do all that stuff. But the desk was happy. It was like driving around with my little Mini Cooper in the city and was like going to every restaurant, which is funny. And then I wanted to stay, but my brother convinced me to like go studying again. And then they made me an offer. I went studying to Hamburg and was not loving it either. I don't like to study.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say cities.
No. I mean, Hamburg is very nice, but also like not my vibe, I would say. Mm-hmm. I was okay in school, like average, and like university, I was like, what am I doing? I don't need this. And then I had to do an internship for my studies. And I did an internship at a poker coaching company where my friend was like basically running it. Poker coaching company.
Whoa, yes. That's a thing?
It is, yeah. It is, yeah. It's a pretty big thing, yeah. Because I mean, the gambling industry is like,
it's huge. It's
huge.
Okay.
Anyway, and then I started doing an internship, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come to Los Angeles?" And then I went to Los Angeles for the first time, did my internship there, and then we basically just traveled. And we just traveled, and I worked for him. He taught me all of the stuff.
This is digital poker.
This is digital poker.
Okay,
yes.
Got it. Okay, so you're teaching people how to play.
Yes.
Okay. And then was this like your first intro into tech? I mean, obviously the restaurant company, but.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say, so I was never like that nerdy, not that tech heavy. And then my friend was like a super nerd.
He was a super nerd.
He was a super nerd, and he like brought me on, took me under his wing. We started this thing called the Freedom Lifestyle, which we're probably going to dive deeper in a little bit. And then, I traveled there. I was like, didn't know what I was expecting, was like kind of hoping to really like go through my ideas, like start something together. And then he was like, no, you're going to do this. And you're going to like try to join a company and like do some video stuff. So I had been vlogging for a while. Don't worry, not online anymore. And then I was just introduced into like this whole tech world. So to like dive a little bit deeper into like the poker thing is, poker is a very mathematical game, but there's also a huge component of luck involved. But the better you are, the less you have to rely on luck, right?
Okay.
So the head of the company was like one of the top 10 best winning online players in the world, called Ben CB.
Okay.
And he made the courses. So we did like 40-hour courses that we then sold for like up to like $1,500 for people then to basically learn with our boss and also get like tips on how to play different spots, right? And I did the social media marketing for them and like marketing, budgeting and ads and running ads and all of that stuff. And I loved it because I'm a gambler myself. My dad was prior to me as well, so like runs the family, so kind of a good fit. And then I was in LA working at a poker coaching company basically from my laptop. So that was like the first introduction to tech.
This and also this freedom lifestyle.
Yeah.
You were then working online.
Yeah.
And what were you 23 at this point?
It was 2018. So what's that? We have 2022 now. So 6 years ago, I was 21. Yeah.
What? 21?
Yeah.
Okay, that's wild. Okay, you're getting the taste of life and living in the US.
Yeah.
In LA.
Yeah.
Crazy place. Did you go to Vegas?
I did not know.
Really?
Yeah, I was with my parents earlier, but Vegas is a dangerous place.
Especially for, gambler.
Yeah.
Like you. Yeah. And okay, I'm curious, going back to the notes on your phone. You're writing all these things down. Were they viable business ideas, or what were those 300 ideas?
I mean, there was definitely some bullshit in there as well when I was drunk and like was thinking about a electrical straw, like something weird just like popped to my head, but definitely like also like viable ideas for sure. I mean, I don't know on the top of my head. For example, I was thinking about when I was pretty young to have like some form of a battery inside the wheel of a car, and then you can take out for the rotation of the car wheels, you will then charge the batteries, which you can then put into your home to like have electricity. So also stuff like this, tech stuff, art stuff, a lot of drawings when it comes to like clothes or something like this. So it's definitely all over the place, which I still am. That probably is also like a problem that I have, but I don't mind at this point. I mean, like having like too many stuffs at one point is definitely tricky, especially with time management and figuring out like what is a good idea and where should I put more time and or money or whatever it is. But yeah, it's just way more fun, you know? I like bouncing around. I like bouncing from like idea to idea and like having different people who know their stuff. And so, yeah, it's...
What is your driving force, would you say? Is it money? Is it fame? Is it really contributing value?
I would say one of my driving forces is eventually not giving a shit anymore about anything, and finding a healthy relationship that I can like completely, I wouldn't call it like go off the grip, but like just be at peace, you know? And I think with peace and like peace of mind and like being able to care for others, there's money and wealth. I definitely like money. No shame in that as well. I think at this point in age, there's so many things criticized. I think money is like one of them. And I mean, like 100 years ago, you were like the king of the town if you were like money hungry. And like nowadays you're like judged, you know?
You think so?
I think you're judged a lot when you're, for example, if I would answer the question, like immediately guess money, it would have been, you know, perceived in a different way. But if I like try to like paint a picture of like what I want to do with that money, you know, it's a different story. But I like closing deals. I like being on deals. I like working for deals like for a long time, then like trying to figure it out. And like, believe me, like a ton fell through where I thought it was home run and then nothing. But yeah, 100%. And no, honestly, I would definitely say just like feeling comfortable. Feeling comfortable is a very nice thing, and like being able to like go places where I want to go and travel as much as possible, and but also like having homes in different areas. But I would say my drive definitely comes from tennis, from like knowing how to win and how to lose, and like knowing what it takes to like get good. But yeah, I also like the process of like just like going through it and figuring out new stuff, and I like to talk and just figuring out people. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Great answer.
Thank you.
Because that is a missing piece. A lot of the time, I think money it means so much to different, you know, a lot of people, it's a number in the bank maybe, but what is that actually going to do for you? We feel different. So you have all these visions, these ideas of what it will bring to you. And that's why you are quite successful at this point in your life, right?
Yeah.
Because of all these ideas. And so what about commitment?
I mean, it's a big word. Huh? I mean, commitment in terms of, so I would say I go through periods. Periods from, when I started up, I worked every single day for like 12, 13, 14 hours, sometimes more. And I did videos, I worked, I worked for the company, I edited myself, I like still have my own ideas. So I think like working these like hyper intensive 14-hour days is very good. But you need to be able to cope with them. So if you never stop, eventually you're gonna like find a wall, I would say. Yeah, I definitely did not burn out yet, but I can be very lazy, but I can be very efficient as well. So like I need to like find my, I wouldn't call it vice, but I need to find my balance and like when do I work like super hard? Like when do I want to go surf? When do I want to like travel more and like party and like get out? And so I think commitment comes like in phases to me, but like you still have to have the end goal always has to be like in front of you, you know? So it's at the end of the day, it's pretty much every single day, which I learned like immediately when I went to LA to like start this journey with my friend. Basically, we work every single day. We're gonna go party, but then after that, we like, you know, we're gonna eat, we're gonna drink, and then go to work. So that was like engraved pretty early on. And then it just comes down to like, honestly, like sitting in front of your stupid computer and typing and researching and having calls and just doing more.
Can you describe a moment or the moment that you decided you were going to carve your own path?
Well, I like the word. It's a funny one, actually. So I went to LA, I started working, then eventually my internship was over. Then I had to do it immediately. After this, I had to go to a different university outside of Hamburg. So I chose Madrid. In my mind, I already knew that I was never going back to university, but obviously I couldn't tell this to my parents because they were paying. And like, I wasn't like in the financial situation at this point where I can just say, fuck it. And then I had the job. So now I'm in the position to say, fuck it, basically, so I can go forward and do whatever I want. So I go to Madrid to like make my parents happy. And then my friend calls me up and was like, hey, I'm going to Los Angeles again. I think you should come. We both know that you're never going to go back to university and you work full time 7 days a week for the poker coaching company with me. Why shouldn't you go? And I was like, yeah, my parents and blah, blah. And then what happened is that she gave me his dates when he's going back to LA. And then I just booked it. I just booked my flight. And we're booking that flight. My university career was over. And then I remember I ripped my shirt. I was the happiest person of ever.
Like I ripped it, what? Like
I ripped it like this, yeah. I was like, it's over. Okay. And then like a couple of months went by before I actually took the flight. But yeah, this was like the start of like me knowing, okay, I have money. My friend who made good money at the time was also like helping me a lot, like paying like higher percentage of the Airbnbs and like all of that stuff, just like helping me out at my beginning, which was amazing, and like flights and stuff. And so then I, like 1 or 2 months later, I went to Los Angeles and basically called up my parents and was like, I'm kind of going to the airport. I'm not going to make university. I know this is hard on you, but it's a decision I make. My mom started screaming, crying, and my dad said, you're never going to pay with me again. I was like, okay. And then I just got cut from everything. And that's it.
Did you expect that you were going to get cut off? Okay.
Yeah, it was 100% clear.
Yes.
100% clear, yeah.
Good for you. I always commend young people that I meet that have been helped out and to really say, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing and I'm going to let go of the comfort that comes with. So yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely different. Because before even after that, I had a comfortable life. Like I come from a great family, and so I like never had like the struggle of like where does my next meal come from, right? So I don't want to like put this out like I always have my safety net, as my parents said, you know, which is like great to like go out and do what you want because you know you can come back, but it's also very bad because you don't have the motivation and drive that people who like come from the streets have, right? Apart from this, kind of lost my train of thought. Where were we?
you were going to LA. You ripped your shirt.
Exactly.
Parents cut you off.
Exactly. Parents cut me off. Thank you. Parents cut me off, and then I went to LA and I just started working. And from there, we just started traveling like nonstop from like city to city.
The coaching. You were doing the poker coaching.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I did social media there, posting, and did a couple of vlogs here and there to like start like social media stuff. I also did like more, and I had more clients that I think like after 6 months of only doing social media for them, I started doing my own agency. And then I managed a couple of like local restaurants in Frankfurt, some some smaller products. Then I managed a friend of mine who's a professional poker player, did the social media for him and like all of the organization and stuff and traveling, and basically had like a baby agency, I would say, and just help people out with ads, which is super simple, but like people just don't know how to do it.
I mean, I need your services.
Yeah.
Can we do my social media?
No, I don't. I also don't like it anymore, honestly. That's why I stopped eventually, because it's a toxic job.
So you definitely know that world.
Yeah.
Okay, so bring us to the crypto.
Yeah.
Because that's
the crypto world.
Yeah.
Honestly, it is one of the most challenging things I've ever done in my life. 100%. I was very lucky because one of my best friends from childhood is one of the leading people in the industry, especially when you come from Ethereum foundation or from an Ethereum perspective. I would say she's definitely like one of the people in the industry she's as old as me. And she definitely made her mark already in the industry. And she's great and I love her to death. And we went on this trip when quarantine started. And
so she's German.
She's German as well, yeah.
Okay, so you know her from
Frankfurt. Yeah, we grew up together, exactly.
And she's one of the top people in blockchain.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like top people, but she's extremely smart. She just knows her shit. She also now has a partner who is definitely also one of the leading people in the industry. So like they just learned so much from each other. And then we like went on this quarantine stuff, and I was introduced to crypto in like 2016 and invested a little bit, then sold it all to like build up another company of mine. And then obviously biggest mistake ever to sell it and like put it into like open up the company, like whatever. And then, but like never got into the tech because it was just too complicated. I could barely explain or understand myself when I invested first. And then in this quarantine trip, they just like couldn't shut up about it, as crypto people do, I guess, you know. And I was super annoyed like at the first 2 or 3 weeks. And then at one point I was just like, okay, just like bring it on. And I just started to like do my own research. They started to like get more into it with me. And then I just fell in love with like the idea what it could do eventually with like transferring assets from A to B, and everything is decentralized and you don't have to. There are just no names. There's full privacy if you do it correctly, obviously. But
could you quickly explain for people that don't know much about it? I get the eye roll a lot. I have a tiny bit invested, but learned about it a while ago and stupidly only bought such a small amount. You just never know. Yeah. But I think it is really, really interesting. So, in a couple sentences, could you just describe what it is? What the concept?
It's tough. It's tough to describe in a couple of sentences.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, and then it took me 2 years to understand, first and foremost, to like really get a grasp of like what we are doing here. And at this point, there's so many different elements of the whole crypto ecosystem that it's hard to like say what it is eventually. But what it is just a very secure way of sending assets from A to B. Normally what we need from like sending money from A to B is you're going to send me money. It goes to your bank, then it goes to my bank, and then it goes to me. Everybody takes a cut and then you get your money, right? What crypto does, it is a peer-to-peer network, which basically excludes every bank, every government. It's completely decentralized. So what happens here is that a completely new freedom was introduced in 2010 with Bitcoin, when Bitcoin started, right? So now people can just send money from A to B or whatever asset it is, right? So, and this whole thing just opened up like a new ideology, what money is and like how money can be transferred, right? So I would just say like from like the earliest start, it was just something where you can transfer something safely from A to B without anyone knowing that it was even you. And now we're like getting into like these very sophisticated organisms and ecosystems inside the crypto world where people can write smart contracts, which is basically something where us two agree and we sign the contract, and then until the contract runs out, or maybe never, money will be transferred between us if something happens, or if the world all goes to shit, and everything will still run, right? So So what does that, for example, is that accountants and lawyers and like all of these people they will lose their edge. They're already losing their edge because they're just not needed that much anymore.
Okay, so it's wiping out some of these layers. Okay, for investing purposes, have we like missed the boat, you think, if people haven't invested?
No, we're just starting.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just starting. The thing about crypto is that, first of all, it's such a beautiful and complicated place that it will never run out of like evolving. That's the first huge thing. Second thing is that only over quarantine, I would say, so many new people like flooded into the ecosystem. That's why it went up immensely, because like people were bored and were like, okay, let's try this stupid fucking crypto thing eventually. And then like people like got into it and invested a bunch of money, and then it just got way bigger like during quarantine. And I personally think at the moment the most intelligent people are in AI and engineering and also crypto and space tech and like all of that stuff. So I think very smart people are there right now. And 1 week in crypto is like 2 months in real life. So it like runs so quickly. You have to be on top of your game all the time, like read all things up and do your research. And so it will never stop. It will just only evolve, get better, get faster. It won't cost that much anymore to make transaction, because a lot of transactions cost a lot.
It does.
But yeah, there are solutions for that as well. Beautiful thing is that there's a problem, there will be a solution eventually, because smart people will put in together resources and then it just goes up from there.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely no boat missed. New things coming out daily. If you do research, if you understand it, if you know where to research, you will definitely still have an edge in the game, 100%.
Do you believe in diversifying or buying? I heard recently just invest in Bitcoin or Ethereum, like the top two, instead of all these new coins that are coming out, and keeping up on that.
I mean, it depends what your risk profile is, right? So for example, like I like risk, I always did. So I like to diversify, right? The thing is with diversifying is also that you're actually taking the risk a little bit down, because you have more pots, you have more hands in the pot, right? Mm-hmm. So if one thing goes up, another thing goes down, and sometimes it equalizes. But the more you diversify, you're also going to take like some of the shitty coins, and you didn't do so much research, or you didn't do your due diligence, whatever you want to call it, and then you lose money, right? Sometimes you get scammed, happens a bunch. But I would definitely tell you or anyone who's listening, do not invest in something that you do not understand. And obviously all of this is not financial advice, but do your own research, figure out Ethereum, figure out what comes from Ethereum. But yeah, just invest something that you can lose. This is probably the best thing for you to do. Like whenever you invest something in crypto, just see it as it's not there anymore.
It's gone. Or just hold it. Yeah. Unless you want to be a day trader, right? But that's a whole.
Yeah, do not day trade ever.
No, talk about stress. I mean, it's just in a couple of days it goes, up and down thousands of dollars. So, take us through like a day in the life of someone doing blockchain.
I mean, it really comes down to what kind of projects I'm on right now, because what I do, for example, is also I do token economics for people.
You do what?
I do token economics for people. So for example, we launched like a whole metaverse. Metaverses are basically like digital places where people can go in, connect with the community, trade stuff, buy stuff, do stuff. We're not that far yet, but eventually it will be like a video game where you can go inside, but it's all on the blockchain. You can earn money. You can speak to your friends, like a digital world, basically.
Okay. And that's the Web3.
That's a huge part of the Web3, 100%, yes. And then what we did is we basically put together this whole structure of like, what kind of token do we need? What blockchain are we using? Because there are tons of different blockchain now. Everybody has their cons and pros, their cons and pros.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. There we go. And then we just figured that out, and then we built a token economics. What token economics basically is we need to figure out a structure for a new dollar, let's say, right? Mm-hmm. So what is that? how many tokens are there? How many tokens will distribute over time? How many tokens will distribute daily? How can people gain more of these tokens through staking? What can people do with this token? Why will this token rise? Which exchange are these tokens going to be on? So we basically built like a huge model in Excel on how to basically figure out that this token will eventually go up and up and up and up and up and up, which is like the goal of every single token. But so this is something that I do.
Sounds so nerdy.
Yeah.
Not a nerd.
And I'm not good at math, as we figured out earlier.
I was like, what?
I have very good math friends though, but but yeah, it is very nerdy, which I started figuring out that I do like. Mm-hmm. I would say like 4 years ago when I started working, because tech is just endless. You can do whatever you want, right, which is super cool. But yeah, I mean, like normal day, like I wake up when I wake up, then a bunch of calls, just like people I work with, updates, people I have invested in wants updates, advisors, friends who I'm working with, which I do like. Have like my core team, I would say, which is not huge, but it's like I don't trust a lot of people. When I trust you, like it's a done deal. And then just like trying to figure out like how to get bigger, how to get better, how to get more money into the ecosystem, what to invest in. A lot of researching on all the platforms, being in Discord, message, like chatting with random people I've never seen, wherever we'll see, getting in the community and trading digital real estate. I do daily.
Trade digital real estate?
Yeah.
Actual properties?
Yeah, no, not actual properties. So,
I mean, digital properties.
Exactly, yeah. So this is like one of the main, I wouldn't even call it the main, but one of the big things in the Web3 world is that you will actually have the ability to have a digital address that you can make marketing in, have concerts, showrooms, whatever it is.
I don't get it. No,
I completely understand. It's very hard to get, And,
yeah. But what is the value of that? Is that you invite people to a concert that you have. So what, you have to hire the band then? The digital.
Yeah. So what happens is basically, let's call it Metaverse. This is like some guy coined this thing. This is what people do in crypto. They just coin stuff, and then either it sticks or doesn't.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's called the Metaverse, which is basically, it's a digital world where people can just buy stuff, trade stuff, have fun, walk around, do whatever the fuck they want, right? And why did it got so big? The big question everybody's asking at this point is, if you look at trends and if you look at where the world is going, you always need to look at like the 12 to like 15 years old or even younger at this point, because they get so fucking smart. It's crazy. And they are all gaming. They're spending money from their credit cards from their dads and moms to like buy skins in Fortnite that don't make anything for you. Just social status. Skins is like, you have your character in a game and you buy something and then you have an outfit, like in Spider-Man outfit, for example. Okay. Huge Spider-Man fan, by the way.
Are you? Yeah. Oh.
Anyway.
Fun fact.
Then what you do is, like, for example, what I do. I'm part of Metaverse, which is mirroring the real world. So they took the API, which is like the DNA of a website, from Google Maps. So then they put it onto the blockchain. So now you can buy properties in Manhattan. They have the same size. They have the same address. So Park Avenue 65 is Park Avenue 65. And the how it looks in real life, like the ground on the floor, is the same in the Metaverse, right? So I bought this. Why do I buy this? Because I generate a yield with buying it. I generate their token. Okay. And then with this token, I can buy new properties. And then what I can do when I have these properties, I can then sell them for USD. I can sell them for crypto. I can sell them for the cryptocurrency that they have. And then what do? I generate value. Then I buy more, I buy more, I buy more. And then I just started trading them a lot, buying them, trading them, and doing this on a daily basis. And just figuring out like how I can make money in this, right? And then now what happens next, you can start building actual buildings on top of these digital properties. And then you build this properties with a different token. What was that?
I think someone's just ringing all the bells.
And then, I build a digital property. Then this digital property just raised the price of my digital whole thing that I have there. So now people want to pay more money for this.
So now what you own, people want
exactly
now, so then you're
more.
able to
Yes.
Can you just give us like a what's an average cost of a Manhattan apartment? That cannot be cheap.
I mean, I think right now, this is like one metaverse from like many at this point, right?
Oh, okay.
So I think like at the moment, the floor of like the lowest properties you can buy in Manhattan is, I think, $150, and like goes up to like $100,000, $200,000.
Okay.
But there are other metaverses where, for example, like Sandbox and Decentraland, which are like the huge ones and like the leading ones at the moment, properties go there for like upwards of like 300, 400, 500K, or even more, like even in the millions already. Yeah, definitely the millions already. But yeah, at the end of the day, the crypto world is about finding a community that believes in the same shit that you do, right? Yeah. And I personally got hooked on the whole metaverse game because I think that this is just where we will lead. We're just going to go there because we're in a pretty fucked up world. People are not as happy maybe as you and me. Sometimes, obviously we are miserable sometimes as well, but speak
for yourself.
But sometimes it's just nice to like go away and like figure out a new world and like be a new person, new, character, gender, whatever the fuck you want, right? And this is what the metaverse will bring, while you will be able to make money.
Okay.
And so that's the twist.
Yeah. So it's like escapism.
Yeah.
With the twist of making money, owning property in Manhattan, which you never would do in real life, let's say. So it gives you these opportunities to live virtually.
Yeah.
How is it in there? What does it feel like?
So I am personally not yet like running around completely in there with like VR goggles and stuff. Like I walk around from my computer, but the thing is the tech is not as advanced yet because honestly, I don't know completely why, because the blockchain is not quick enough yet. Maybe capital is missing. I know that Mark Zuckerberg now put his whole company to call it Meta and will introduce a whole metaverse. So he will definitely put in billions over billions and billions into it. So the tech will be raised on this department. Obviously I dabble in it a little bit, but it is just basically just running around. The closer you get to someone in metaverse, you can talk to them, you can like make friends, you can walk around, you can build your own worlds. Then people can go into your world. Then they can even try to buy it off you if they really like it. You can run ads. You can have your own showroom. Wow. You can have NFTs in there, any kind of art, links to your website.
Okay.
So it will just be a new form of marketing yourself.
Mm-hmm. So as a personal brand, you could market yourself in there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah. So now thank you for explaining that.
For sure. Because it's a very difficult topic.
It is. And it's thrown around so much. And I think I say crypto bro, in that way, because there is a lot of wealth being made by very let's say young guys.
Yeah.
The majority of people I've met personally, but I think it's given this whole generation of people like just a crazy amount of access to a certain way of life and living that it's like an older generation can't really understand. So you explaining it is helpful. And that's the thing is if we don't understand something, then we go, I'm not interested.
Yeah.
So it is potentially a mistake to ignore this.
Huge mistake, biggest mistake ever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you think is the next? Okay, so we invest a little bit in crypto NFTs. Would that be next?
I mean, look, the thing about the thing is, I want to be very careful. I want to be very careful, like how to put this right, because when you look at stocks, for example, when you look at companies, 99% of companies will go down to zero eventually, right? startups. Let's call them startups. You have like the success rate of like 1 to 3%, maybe. I'm not sure here, but you need to pick the winners, right? How do you pick the winners? With a lot of research, knowing people in the industry, figuring out people who are smarter than you, and if they are cool to give you tips, right? It's just how the world works. So investing into something that you don't know anything about will always be an issue eventually, because sometimes you have to make quick decisions and you just don't know why you should do this quick decision. So you lose out, you lose it all, you maybe win a lot as well. So what I would tell people about investing in NFTs, which is super volatile at the moment, because it's super easy to make an NFT and to upload it and to like tell a scammy story about it. But there are huge projects there as well now, like big ones coming up every day as well. So I would tell you to focus on Ethereum. I would tell you to read a bunch of white papers. A white paper is basically where everything is explained, the token economics, their longevity, what they're trying to do, all of the partners is always getting updated. So everything that is built on Ethereum as well, obviously not everything, but like the good ones. And yeah, just like go on CoinMarketCap, check out the first, 10 to 20 top coins, read the white paper, figure out which you like, also personal preferences, and then get into the community, go on Discords, go on Twitter, just start reading and like make friends in the industry, which helps.
What if you don't have an interest in it necessarily and you just want to earn money from it?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to earn money, you can just invest in like the top 10 right now, like top 5, and just let it be. You know, a lot of people do that. So what I tell people is like leave 50%. Leave 50% in like Ethereum and Bitcoin, and the other 50% like read up, do some research, and just let it be.
Okay.
Trading daily is very dangerous,
Totally.
Because a 10 to 20% dip in the crypto world is like a Tuesday.
Oh, is it Tuesday?
It hurts for sure.
I wonder why Tuesday.
Yeah, just random, honestly. But
it's also the best day to buy plane tickets.
Yeah, is it?
It's the cheapest day.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I guess I missed out.
I travel a lot, or I used to.
I do too. I've never heard that before. Damn.
Tuesdays, yeah.
But yeah, just put it to an end is that do 50 in like something that is more stable, you know, which is Ethereum, which is Bitcoin, still volatile. But you know, it's like the big two, the first and the second one, and so you're going to be somewhat safe. And then the rest, just like play around and like invest something. It's also cool, you know, like to, hey, have you invested this? And then and then like what do you know? Like this is basically how everything forms, is that you find another person that has the same thing as you, and then you start talking, right?
I really like that you brought that up, because this digital world feels so separate from other humans. It's like living in that fake world, I guess. But you've mentioned this several times about community, and you've met people, and it's a connection point. Yeah. So in a way, you're being able to connect with people that you never would, and that's the beauty of the internet and social media and everything. Yeah. So okay. So I feel like
we can definitely talk. We talk about hours for this. Right?
I was going to say.
Whatever you want to ask away.
Then I'm like selfishly thinking, okay, well, can you look at my portfolio? It's very small, but okay.
Something else for sure.
Okay. Because I was going to say, you could consult for people, right?
Yeah, I do that.
Oh, you do? Yeah. Okay, I figured it's one of the many things you do.
Yeah.
What is something that you're looking forward to the most right now?
We are in the middle of merging with another just starting up company who figured something out that I've been thinking about for the better part of 8 years. And we randomly met up over a friend in Lisbon, and then made a trip to the south with like 5-6 people, and like started talking Metaverse stuff. And like at this point it was like seven months ago, like no one was talking about it. And I mean, it's like 2.5 years, so like I know a bunch. And it's like super cool to like meet someone who's also like kind of cool. And so we like immediately
cool.
clicked. And immediately clicked like, and like we're like figuring out how to merge companies and like merge, like when I say companies, like the crypto world is like not like that you have like company like this. It's more like community, like people work together and like have the same goal, right? But we're like trying to merge and like build like a blockchain venture and helping out people and like bringing on new businesses all the time and like having different funds in the business and just like doing this and helping people and investing into new stuff as well together. And super excited about this. I hope we will figure it out. Had a great call yesterday and just like now figuring out details and equities and how everything runs. Excited about that and more surf and sport in the water.
So when I first met you, you said that your goal, let's say in this, sport arena, is to get your first barrel surfing, and you just started surfing.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. Okay. What does that mean to you to get a barrel? Before you're 30. So before you're 30.
Yeah, exactly. So I like to make bets all the time, also with like losing weight and stuff. So like betting against myself, I do this a lot as well. Just motivates me also for money and against friends or like whatever it is. So it would mean, the thing about surfing for me is I was diving a lot when I was younger, but I never did water sports except for like wakeboarding and water skiing, this stupid stuff. And then I started surfing here, and then I started surfing here, and I just immediately fell in love with it, which is something that is hard to do, especially when you come from a sport background, right? And I was like, this is crazy. I love the adrenaline and I'm like to take risks. I like bigger waves. And then like for months and months, like it's so hard. I mean, right?
Oh, hardest sport ever.
It is so fucking ridiculous. It's crazy. And then like when I caught like my first, I think left or right, and I should have gone right, but I went left. So I drove into the barrel, but it was just a mistake. It wasn't a real barrel. I just like took the wrong turn, but it was a pretty big wave and the tide was low. And so I like looked into it and like, I remember this moment. I can picture it like this. And it just had such a great feeling. It fulfilled me completely. And then I was like, I have to do this. I have to pursue this. And I spent countless hours already in the water, just paddling around because you don't catch a wave that often, especially if you're not good.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think I'm doing good.
I'm sure you are.
I think I'm doing okay.
If you can surf in Portugal, you can surf anywhere in the world. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you most proud of up until now?
Just going my own way and saying fuck it to university. Just going out in the world and just like trying to figure out like what I like, who I like. And what my aspirations are, I think education is very important, and I realize that I'm lacking in a bunch of stuff, for sure. Just because I just like hadn't had like the whole university and school and all that, and I cheated a bunch as well. So I see where I lack and stuff, but so education is important. But if you want to do something where you run your own business, where you can, create a product, whatever it is, you don't need to go to university for 7 years, because you're most likely going to come out with a bunch of debt that you then have to pay off, which takes another 7 years. So
it's the American way.
Exactly, yeah. And I don't know, I'm just very proud of the people I met, the relationships I built, the businesses I have played a part in. And just super excited to like what's coming up next. Still super young, and this is only going to get bigger and hopefully better. And, life isn't that short, if you do more shit, I guess.
Oh, I like that. Because that's the common thing to say is life is short, which is true, but to live it the fullest.
Yeah.
100%. Then it is long.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you very much. It's been a little bit all over the place, but it was my first podcast. So yeah, I'm definitely coming back if I'm invited.
Definitely. I'm glad I could pop your podcast cherry.
Yeah, 100%. This was fun. It was fun. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, you have so many great stories. And I'm just so impressed with the way that you approach life and everything, because I can tell you've been raised by very awesome parents.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Very lucky,
Yeah. And you're grateful for that. And that's like the best thing, is being grateful,
100%.
Thank you again. How can people find you and follow you? Because I know you're on Instagram a little bit, or do you show up anywhere else online?
Not too much.
Yeah.
No, not too much. You can message me on Consti on Instagram, and then we can go from there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm not I was into social media for a while, but then I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Later.
Yeah. You're in the metaverse now.
Kind of. Yeah. Let's see how this works out. But yeah,
Awesome.
Content Consti it is.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You got it.
Super fun.
My pleasure.
That brings us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for being here. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review on Apple Podcasts. It makes a big difference for visibility. And even better, share this episode with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode every other Wednesday. If you're interested in working together to elevate your online presence, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me on Instagram at whereiswillow. I also hang out on LinkedIn, Willow McDonough. Until then, cheers to carving your own fucking path. I love you.